You know, I'm actually surprised didn't. I never told this before. And it was during my middle school period. Huh. There's actually two things that I can tell that took place during my time in middle school. But we're only going to be focusing on one thing today. ah, that baffles me. Alright, so some of you know. I say some of you because, again, it's half and half when it comes to my subscribers. Half of you are like my friends, and the other half are just either associates or people that legitimately sub to my channel just because, I don't know. More or less. But as some of you know, every time, like during middle school, both in my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, whenever I'd miss the bus, I'd always walk to school. And the thing is, you'd think that wouldn't be a bad idea, right? I lived 5 miles from my middle school. 5 miles. And do know that here in Florida is hot as hell. And I'd walk 5 miles from my house to school. Because usually I was afraid of the consequences of if my mom found out that I missed school. And it got to the point where even my dad was like, don't do that, please. That's not safe, and that's you're putting your body through too much stress by doing that. And of course I didn't listen to him. But yeah, during my 7th grade year, I believe, 6th or 7th, but I believe it was my 7th grade year, I was walking one time down the street from my place, and I made it about like a mile and a half already. And I took a break to, check my phone and watch a little bit of YouTube and whatnot, just to, take a little break, because I do that every now and then. So I sat at the curb, and then I see a police car come by, stop next to me, and he comes out, he walks over to me, and he's like, "What you up to? What you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just chilling. I'm on my way to school, actually." Trying to be honest with an officer here. And I was like 13, 14 in my 7th grade year, so yeah. And he's like, "Well, I got a call from somebody who thought that you were lost, or because they saw you just sitting here." And I'm like, "Well, I'm fine." And he's like, "Well, do you..." Like, he started asking me like other questions that I was actually hesitant to answer, like, where do you live, your parents' name, or stuff like that. And I just kept saying I didn't know. Because if I say I don't know, they can't entirely accuse me of lying. Entirely, at least. But he checked me, and I was wondering why he was patting me down and he checked me. And it was because he was gonna, have me be in his car in the back. And I got in, and he started driving, and he drove me to... unfortunately, not to school. But, I forgot what... God damn it, I know that place has a name. Or not that place specifically, but... I don't know, I think a police department? I'm not entirely sure, though. to just hang. It wasn't like a jail or a juvenile or anything like that, but he drove me to a place where I'd hang until, my parents would, come and get me. And mind you, as we're on our way there, and when I arrive there, I am freaking out in my head. Like, I look calm, or I look like I'm not being very verbal, or, feeling anything, but in my head, I'm like, freaking out, like, oh god, what is my mom gonna think? What is my dad gonna think? What's gonna happen? Oh god, oh my god, I'm in so much trouble. um, but yeah, I hung there for a good 2 hours, and, well, lo and behold, my dad picked me up, with my grandpa, and he drove me to school, and I was glad. There was actually like 5 or 4 hours left of school, and usually that was enough time for them to actually, allow me to come back in. So yeah, so I was thankful for that. Now, that is that part of the story. There's a whole other thing that happens on that same day. So, I go to my civics class, right? I go to my civics class, and, my friends are clowning me for being in a situation like that. And my friend Jamal goes to the bathroom, and our class is literally like across, because it was like a portable bathroom, for boys and girls, and there are windows, so we could like see, from our class, from inside the classroom to the the bathrooms. So my civics teacher and whoever else teaches there, or assists there as like a teacher assistant, can see if somebody's like skipping or anything like that. So my friend Jamal goes to the bathroom, and when he goes to the bathroom, I notice another kid goes in the bathroom like a couple minutes after, and that was my old friend Christian, who had a very interesting last name, which I am not going to say, but I'm not associated with him anymore, nor do I think he even lives in Florida anymore. So I believe. So I feel comfortable at least saying his first name. But he comes from another class into the bathroom shortly after Jamal enters. And it takes like 5 to 10 minutes for Jamal to come out the bathroom. And then another friend of mine, named Josh, has to go himself. And my teacher, Miss Lewis, I remember her name, said that he could go because Jamal was taking a while. So Josh exits the class, right? Walks around, goes up the ramp, and he opens the door, and then he just stops and looks down. And then that's when my attention is, because I was curious all this time why Jamal was taking so long. And Josh opening the door and then just stopping and just looking down, I'm like, something is happening. Something is definitely happening. And then like my teacher, Miss Lewis, notices, and then she's like, okay, something is up. So she exits the class and then walks up to the bathroom. Lo and behold, my friend Jamal and Christian were fighting. Now, the reason why this is so funny is what Jamal told me what happened. But, Miss Lewis separates them. Jamal goes to Miss Turner's office, the behavior specialist's office. Like, literally a place that me and my friends would always go to skip class or just hang for free time. Fun times. But he goes over there, and then Christian goes to his class, I believe. Josh tells me what he saw, which was, Christian was on the ground grappling to, Jamal's leg, and Jamal was trying to kick him off his leg. So, a couple periods passed. I'm in my last period, and that just so happens to be the period that I skip. And for those who don't know, I used to skip a lot in middle school. I'm surprised I even graduated middle school. But I went to Miss Turner's, and Jamal was in there. Now, I go up to Jamal and I'm like, dude, what happened? What happened with you and Christian? And he told me, like, that, he just got done using the bathroom and he was washing his hands. And then Christian, walks out of a stall himself shortly after and starts to mess with him. Now, Christian and Jamal, Jamal never was really a fan of how Christian is. And that's actually not the first time they've ever gotten into a physical fight, nor their first time being in a conflict in general, because they always used to argue and they always used to threaten to, like, beat each other up and shit. But he told me that as he was washing his hands, Christian decided to be all funny and stuff, try to mess with him a little bit as a jokingly way to, just put, napkins on his head and kind of, ball them up and then throw them at his head a little bit. And he thought it was funny. He thought stuff like that was funny. To Jamal, it wasn't funny, and he told him to stop multiple times. And then after Jamal raised his voice, then Christian just balled up one, soaked it with water, and then threw it as hard as he could at Jamal's face. And then he tried to run towards the door and slipped. And then Jamal, well, yeah. Then Jamal grabbed him, and then technically, yeah, Jamal got physical first, but Christian was kicking him, so it's only fair. Jamal, was hitting him as Christian was biting his leg, so I guess that's why, he was grappling to Jamal's leg. And, that's why Jamal was, kicking him, and I guess from what Jamal told me, he was also hitting him in the face as much as he could as well. And Christian just wouldn't relent, if I'm using that word correctly. He just bit his ankle. And then after that, Jamal told me he grabbed him by the hair and the leg and then tossed him, and then that's when he left. So but yeah, that was a very interesting and unforgettable day during my 7th grade year. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.